Okay, you're here. That means you want to give it a try with the digital signage. And by the way, if you like this type of video, guys, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. This video is for education purpose only. So once this out of the way, let's move on to this main topic. You're going to download 3 different type of software. One is for SSH terminals, and the second one is obviously image. Third one is Image Writer. So we're going to go through together. Don't get confused. And if you get confused, pause this video, rewind this video, and you will be able to get this digital menu board without paying any monthly subscription, without any hassle. And this is sort of a DIY project, so I like to tinker around with things like that. And this is when I saw an open source, I thought, you know what, I should just do the video for all my viewers out there, or if you are new to the channel as well. So welcome to this community, welcome to the channel. Number one, you're going to download is the Raspberry Pi Writer. So if you go to raspberrypi.com, and everything in the link in the description below, guys, you can just scroll down, press more, and you'll be able to find all this one. You can press on software section and scroll down where you see install Raspberry Pi using Pie Image Writer. So we're going to select obviously operating system you're using. Are you using a Mac? You use Mac, select that. Windows, obviously select that. Ubuntu, which is Linux, you can select it as well. For me, I've selected Mac and I've already downloaded that image. We're going to download another piece of software called TolDotechnik. Scroll down all the way to the bottom where you see pre-built images. This is what you're going to get. Now, depending on what Raspberry Pi you got, so this is why I prefer to use 3B. 3B is powerful enough, but it actually supports a lot of software as well. So you click on that. Once you click on the i3, which is Raspberry Pi i3.ms, which is the image file that we're going to write it, and then it will be in a download folder. So next, depending on your again operating system, Windows, double click install Raspberry Pi Writer, and then Mac, obviously double click open, drag and drop the application folder. From here, go to Launchpad and type Raspberry RA, and then that's the first thing it's going to pop out with. Here, make sure you get the SD card ready. Insert the SD card next. Now, once you insert the SD card, please make sure remove any external drive you have saved in there, or if you have anything plugged in, disconnected, because you don't want to overwrite things and then you'll lose your data. So choose the device. So from here device list, you can choose whatever model you have. As I have 3, and in this 3 section, B, A+, B+, and C, everything works. Click on it. Select operating system. Remember what we have downloaded before, so don't select any of these. Scroll down, it says use custom, press use custom, and then select the STK i3, which is Raspberry Pi 3. Press open, choose the storage, make sure the SD card is plugged in properly. Go unplug it and plug it back in. It's not reading properly. What I will do, I'll disconnect it and plug it back in again, and then it will pop out right here. Just select that, say no, press yes, and it's going to ask for administrative password. I'm going to put my administrative password in. Wait for a few seconds. Depending on the system, it will generally load faster. You can see on the bottom it says writing. Press continue. Unplug the SD card in. Plug it back in again. So now we're going to go back here. We're going to close this image writer. We're going to open this Raspberry Pi. There are 3 things I want you to understand before you proceed with anything. First is we're going to configure the Wi-Fi. Second one is, are you going to display a video, or are you trying to display just a web browser or just a web page? If you're trying to display a video, then we're going to just focus on this video.txt. Display a URL, this means a web browser. That means you're just going to focus on URL.txt. Now WPA, right click on it, press rename, and then delete the thing called .example. And then once you delete it, press enter, and the system will say, are you sure you want to delete that? You're just gonna say yes. You're gonna use the use.config file. That means we can configure the device on the SD card. And you're gonna right click, open with any text editor, because it's just a text file. And here, don't get confused. SSID means your Wi-Fi name. So it could be anything, XYZ, or whatever name you have saved it. Make sure to type it correctly. Your Wi-Fi password, and make sure enter it in here. And then make sure you enter within this quotation. Don't try to remove the quotation as well. So once you complete Control S or Command S, depending on what system you use, that means it will be saved in the SD card. We're going to unplug the SD card. We're going to plug it in, and everything will be done before we finish this one. So now, third piece of software I want you to download is called Terminus. So if you have access to this one, if you're on a Mac, guess what? You can use it. If not, PuTTY or any sort of a SSH terminal or STFP client will work. So if you use both of them, we will be using both of them. So that means first is we're going to log in and we're going to do some changes. Second thing is drag and drop. So for this will be useful in the future if you're trying to change the menu word, you want to change the price or things like that. Guess what, you can't just go and unplug that Raspberry Pi, plug it in, change it. And the whole purpose of this one is to be like an easy, convenient. If you make sure you get one of these running, okay, so once you have downloaded, depending on again system, download it, and then we're going to go and then unplug the SD card in. Make sure, don't forget the Wi-Fi username and password, plug it in, and we're going to go through. We're going to see the screen next shortly. The way you're going to put the SD card is make sure you check this metal part. So metal part and metal part goes together. So if you go slide that bad boy in, and you'll be able to see, there won't be any click or any sound, but you can see that's how it goes. This needs to be reconfigured. That means once you boot this for the first time, it will take a while, minute or two. Before that, there will be a loading bar, and actually you can see in the loading bar, it will actually say partitioning system files and things like that. And after that, it will reboot it again, and then it will get stuck on one of the screen, which is like it's a looping screen. Remember, if the loading bar doesn't go well more than say 75% or sometimes 100%, it stays on 100% and doesn't do nothing, that means there's something wrong on the process that you have recently done. So that could be our Wi-Fi. So that's a troubleshoot method. I'm telling you first. So if your Wi-Fi SSID, which is Wi-Fi name, and the password is wrong, guess what? This is the reason behind that. So now we're going to plug that bad boy in, and we're going to plug it in with this monitor, or if you have TV, you plug it in TV and you'll be able to see. So I'm going to plug that HDMI first. Make sure you always plug the HDMI and then plug the power source later. You can see the fans running on. If you are using one of this clear case, I like this one, the fans kick in, it's going to be a little bit cooler. You will see this boot splash. That means, and you can see resizing, partitioning, and it will reboot it. And make sure you look at the loading bar. That's the reason, telltale sign that if there's something wrong with your configuration, guess what? This is where you will see that, and you'll see that in obviously upcoming process as well, or step, that if the loading bar is not, it will get stuck here for a long period of time. It will do nothing. That means your configuration is wrong. But I'll obviously tell you the step by step as well. You can see, if you're seeing here, this is good. And the beauty of this one is like your actual remote of your TV will work for this one with the box as well. That's the beauty of this application. Now we're going to move through this screen, and I'm going to show you a couple of things, and which we're going to go through. Let's open up a Terminus. So Terminus is obviously one of these application folder. I'm going to just delete this one. So obviously this is the STFP client with SSH. That means the whole purpose of having this application is, first we're going to talk to this Raspberry Pi. That means there's no way of talking without connecting. So that's why we put a Wi-Fi username and password. Now it knows the Wi-Fi username and password. The very important step is, when you are using any of these like SSH terminal, STF terminal, you need to understand there's a name for each and every device. So that means this has Raspberry Pi has its own name, you have your own name, I have my own name, and every single household device has its own name. So that is unique to that person. It could be common name, and when you have a common name, what will happen is clash. And then I'll explain you the next process as well. What could you do if there's a clash? That means if you have more than one or two Raspberry Pi, then if you have the same name, then it will clash. Every single time you try to connect, it will not work, or some different device will work instead of some device that you are assigning the task for. By default, there are a couple of things. Default the username, default the password. So the root is username, root is the password as well. And there's a default name for the Raspberry Pi. So it's called Raspberry Pi i3. Raspberry Pi 3. Right? .local, because you are connecting in local. That's how we can SSH. You're going to press search. How are you going to call? So like if somebody's going to call you, you're going to call by whistling, by saying it. This is what you're doing, SSH. You press connect. It's going to ask for username. Remember the username, root, press enter. And then it might show you different than what it will show me on the screen. Obviously I've been changing things around, and then my test as well. I'll just say add as new, and it will ask me a password. I'll put my password in, which is again root. You can change the password later. So if you are here, that means your Wi-Fi is connected perfectly fine. And this is obviously a telltale sign as well that your Wi-Fi is connected fine. So now we're going to go to SFTP. So that way you can see what am I talking about, and I'll try to relate with this one as well. So if you go here, select host, IP3 local, and it's going to ask for, it's going to wait for a while. It's connected. So this one will show you the folder. This is command line. So you have to use both for the very first time. And then second time, you can just drag and drop with every single thing here. So let's go to command line and let's go through with this at the same time. Okay. So if you double click that, that means you're on the root folder /root folder. So this is like at the very beginning. So the system has its own folder. This is the last folder. And every single time you call for something, you're going to say / the name of the folder / the name of the folder / the name of the folder. And you want to change directory, you're going to say cd, which is change directory space. What do you want to change for? From change, say root folder to etc, you say cd space / etc / root, whatever you want to change directory from where to where, you can do it. We're going to do a couple of things in the boot folder. So you're going to go to boot folder. Here, as I mentioned like at the very beginning, that if you're using a video or rename it. So if you are renaming something, then if you go through SSH, which is command line, it's going to be very confusing. That's why SFTP is very useful for you. You could rename it with SSH, but this is the easy step. So let's go. Whatever you're not using it, rename it. The purpose behind that is if you're going to rename URL, that means just something, then this will think, okay, you just want to display the video. So let's rename the URL first. I'm going to write something, just random word. I'll just write RM. That's okay. Just whatever name works out. If you just want to delete it, you can delete it as well. But if you want to display URL later, it will be harder for you. So better rename it. Once you're here, what I want you to do is go back here and on the very last folder, just right click on it, create a new folder. I'll explain you why. I'm just going to write menu just for this video purpose. You can write whatever folder you want to save your media to. So this folder will be saving your file. There's already a media folder. That's why I'm not creating as a media folder. You want to create something with a unique name that's not in this folder. Right click on it, again create a folder. And here, every single thing you want to display, keep it here. Just drag and drop here. Okay. And one file will be better. So now for this video purpose, what I'll do is, you can see there's nothing displaying at the moment. I've downloaded one of this video file, which is a random. Please like and subscribe to this video. And what I'll do, I'll just drag and drop. And then you can see it actually, and drag and drop. That means 3 megabytes drop like that. That means you literally copied and pasted this SD card. This is why your SFTP is very important. So, and you must be thinking, why did I just write 1.mp4? There's a reason behind it. So every single time you want to play something from this one, this system should know where to play from and what to play from. So it needs to know the name of the file every single time. So I know it's confusing, and I'm going to explain you next what you need to do. So if you go here again, go back in the root folder, go scroll down where it says boot. In the boot folder, video.txt. If you open this video.txt, cd change directory space / where are you going to go? What, you don't remember the folder name? You're going to press on SFT. You see the folder name is right on top. Boot. We're going to go to boot. Enter, and you can see it changed from root pi to /boot folder. You know what's inside, because we want to rename or we want to edit the file. You're going to say ls, means list all that. It's going to display all the files in there. So from here, you're going to find the video.txt. We're going to add something in it. But if you want to open that up, and every single Linux operating system has a nano text editor. So you're going to call that text editor, hey, nano space video.txt. So you're telling a nano to go and open the video.txt. If you press enter, you see it's a little like a GUI sort of a window, which is a graphic user interface. Windows pop down. This is where you're going to write the name. So you're going to write / what's the name of the folder you have created? I've created menu / name of the file. And the important part of it is, every single time you make any media, like you are trying to display anything, make sure you have exact file name as this. So I have 1.mp4. So every single time now I would drag and drop, I'll make sure my drag and drop file name is 1.mp4. That's it. That's how it's going to be. Or, and then you're going to write Control X for Mac, Y, enter. That's it. And you must be thinking, is it done or not? You go press arrow key, up arrow key. You see the same command uses enter, press enter. You see the menu.txt is there, and then Control X to exit. Okay. So now you've done it. So let's go back here and just check it whether you actually like the thing has been done or not. You go in a boot file again. You can see video.txt. It was 0 bytes before. Now something is in there. Oh, okay. So /menu/1.mp4 is in there now, isn't it? So now what we're going to do, it's not displaying anything at the moment. The reason behind it, because you have done some live editing, you have to make sure you reboot the device. The best way to reboot the device is type reboot on that SSH terminal, enter, it will start rebooting. And there's a telltale sign. Another is if everything is perfectly fine, your name is perfectly fine, the loading bar, it will be quick. And here, it will load. If something is wrong here, then you won't see anything. You will just get stuck in it. Digital menu board is up and running. And it plays the videos, it does animation. Now, if there's no Wi-Fi connection as well in future, it will actually constantly run unless you connect with Wi-Fi and things like that. Problem number 2. What you're going to do if you have more than 1 or 2 Raspberry Pi in the house and you have to display 2 different menu or 2 different screen. I'll explain you how you're going to do it. So you're going to go back here, reconnect it, and then you're going to go back here, which is in your SSH terminal, clear that, and we're going to go through one important factor. Go back in the folder section. In the folder section, there's a folder called etc. All the Raspberry Pi has the same name. When you set it up for the first time, it has exactly the same name. That's why if you're connecting like 2 Raspberry Pi on the same Wi-Fi network, it'll be harder for you to recall that name, which is it's still on local, that means still on the same Wi-Fi. But if you have the same name, it clashes. That's why if you connect 2 different screens, if one is up and running, another is not running, then you try to reboot that will work. But if both's running, instead of A, B will reboot or something will happen. So, for you to fix it, you go back in the folder again, scroll down, you see etc. Scroll down, we see a thing called host name. If you're confused that what's your host name, if you see it right on the top, rpi3.local, that's a particular name for it. So if you double click on it, you cannot change anything. Remember how we changed that video.txt? Again, we're going to go through SSH. So you remember that cd, change directory space, / where was it, etc. Enter, ls means list all. Now we're going to see host name. Remember the text editor, Nano? Call him out, host name, enter it, and you can see Raspberry Pi 3 is there. So now we're going to change whatever you like and try to assign with the thing you want to use for. So for example, you want to use it for, say, miniboard 1, miniboard 2, miniboard 3. For this video, I'll just write my own name. So GeniusX6, which is my channel name. Command Control X, Y, enter. That's it. Now what will happen is once I reboot it, this rpi3.local will be changed and you have to change to GeniusX6.local. And let's test it and see. Now I'm going to clear it and I'm going to go back here. I'm going to say reboot. Once I press reboot, this will reboot at the same time. Enter. But this SSH will not work. This will start working, but this won't work. It will show you an error because it's not connecting to the right name. So it's not calling out the right name. So that's why it's not going to talk. You can see this is not going to talk. You're going to continue. It's going to show you the error again, but you can see it's still working. I'm going to press edit host x6.local. Now it will show you that the authentication of GeniusX cannot be established. Because do you want to add? Yeah, I'll just press continue and see what happens. This is running. You can just select whichever is working, which is SSH one, and it will open up the file at the same time. Okay, continue. See the directory is here. Menu is here. Boom. This is how you connect or make digital menu board by using an open source piece of software, and then you can just drag and drop whatever media you like, and it actually will loop back in the format that every single time you play anything, it will just loop back. It is actually perfect. It's flawless as well. I like this one system. And how many of you have successfully done it? You can comment down below as well. And then how many of you could not do it? You can comment down below. I'll definitely going to guide you through. And meanwhile, guys, be happy, stay safe. This is Genius X6 signing out. Peace and enjoy a digital menu board for free.